I play Alfred Doolittle, and Alfred Doolittle is Eliza's father. It's kind of an iconic role. He is an alcoholic. He is an absentee father. He is a bit of a con man. But what he really is, for the purposes of George Bernard Shaw, who, remember, based My Fair Lady on Pygmalion, his play, was he wanted to present a character. George Bernard Shaw was all about social reform. He was extremely critical of the treatment of women in the Victorian and the Edwardian era. Pygmalion was written around 1910, 1911. But he was writing from the late 1800s all the way through like the 1930s, so late Victorian Edwardian period. So there was this phrase called the undeserving poor, and basically in England they were a lot of failed policies on how to take care of this overwhelming population of working poor. And non-working poor. You've just had the Industrial Revolution. I will make a point with all of this. But you have this cheap labor force. You have this enormous labor force. It was a real social problem in England at the time. Of course, you've got this aristocracy, of which this character is a part of. So the government comes up with this phrase, the undeserving poor, basically what we would call welfare in the welfare state that we have, like in the States. And so Alfred Doolittle is someone who has a job as a garbage man. They called him a dustman, but sort of is ambivalent about going to work, spends most of his time in the pub. We know he has one daughter, probably illegitimately. There are probably other kids. He wanted to present like the worst type of person in the community, and but he makes this guy sort of very witty, very charming. He knows he's kind of a ne'er-do-well, and he stakes his claim on that, saying, okay, I'm a part of this community. I know I'm good for nothing. I know I don't work, but I'm happy doing that. I ask nothing of the community, and all I want is to live my life as a poor man, doing nothing, spending my time drinking. And so the character is really a Shavian concept, if you will.
Shavian being the adjective of George Bernard Shaw.
Exactly,
yeah.
What we call Shavian, these ideas of the way he has characters kind of embody socio-political ideas. Well, Alfred P. Doolittle embodies this idea of the undeserving poor. And
Doolittle is not an accident as a name, in other words.
Yeah, Doolittle is his,
right.
is his name. So it's just this incredible part of this guy that the audience really starts to root for against their own better judgment. He's a terrible father, you know, he's just a real Rouse layabout. But Bart Shear, our director, urged me to think of him more as a counterculture figure. He urged me to look at sort of like the beat poets, you know, sort of like the Ken Keseys and the Neil Cassidys and the Timothy Learys, people who sort of in the 50s and 60s were kind of existing on the outskirts of society, and how they did that in order to make a statement about the society itself. So he's this kind of great counterculture, alcoholic philosopher, ne'er-do-well, and he's a blast to play. Anyway,
he's also an exceptional dancer.
He can't be an exception.